For Baker Mayfield, who was a walk-on, didn't even have a scholarship waiting for him, I could understand the edge you need to play with, the nobody believed in me type thing. I get it. Does he take it too far? Yeah. On the field, when you're the quarterback and you're grabbing your crotch and F-bombing Kansas, I mean, Kansas might as well be an FCS team. I don't know how you get that hot and bothered over Kansas. But it's a little too far, but it's not anything that would prevent me from drafting him where I wanted to draft him. However, one thing that would is if Baker Mayfield can't show up to Disneyland's media session without being hungover.
How many beers ago? Probably 1,000.
Now, I don't know. That's obviously not reported. The Sooners are saying he's under the weather. But you start putting two and two together. He's healthy enough to practice. He's obviously going to play in this game. He has a history of partying and partying hard. And he just so happens to miss the media session. Sounds like it was about 1,000 beers ago.
How many beers ago? Probably 1,000.
And that's a little bit of a worry because, man, you don't have to be on point for much right now. You know? Now, a generation ago, 2 generations ago, Brett Favre or Joe Namath can get all blotto and they can show up and they can play or whatnot, and nobody notices the difference because there is no massive media sessions. There is no internet. There is no constant dissection of a guy's persona and off the field stuff. But that was a generation ago. And you can't be Joe Namath anymore. And you can't be Ken Stabler anymore. And if Baker Mayfield understands what's ahead of him, man, you've only got to be in a box for like 6 more total days. You know? It's like you need to make sure you don't drink and get crazy the night before media session, the night before the actual game, the night before your pro day, and the night before the combine if you go. You know, you're talking about like 4 or 5 events that it's just smart to, hey, don't drink the night before. Tonight, I don't care. Go out and get plowed in Anaheim. Go to Epcot Center if you're 21 years old and do the world tour of beers. Who cares? You can shake off that hangover at 21, 22 years old by the next day. You've still got 4 days until the game itself. Again, who cares? But if you've got to be in front of the media at a certain time to answer questions and the entire world is watching and wondering, well, should we draft Baker Mayfield? Can we trust him? That's when you need to just know, tonight, no way, boys. Tomorrow, let's do it. And if you can't sit inside the hotel room and watch movies on demand, if you can't just hang out on your phone, if you can't FaceTime your girlfriend or whatever for one night because you know, look, I got to be up early, the cameras are on, and I'm trying to put on a good face so that I get millions of dollars, that's where you lose me. Because I'm not asking you to go drive for 6 months, even though that would be smart, but I'm not asking you to be a saint. I'm not even asking you to change your persona on the field. What I'm asking you is, if there's going to be 5 events where the world is watching, and you've got to make sure you're on point for these events to set up the rest of your life and the rest of your career. Just, is 5 events too much to ask? To me, it's not. I don't mind Baker's edge. I don't mind Baker's, his moxie, his gusto, his edge. If that's what makes him great, that's what makes him great. But who's the person in Baker Mayfield's ear going, hey, man, we just lived through Johnny Manziel. You've already got that thing attached to you. People are wondering if you're the next Manziel. Just make sure you show up clear-eyed, right as rain, sober, whatever it is, to these events. You might think they're not a big deal, but they just are. There's only like 4 or 5 of them. If you get through that, you're fine. Or how about this? Let's just take the week before the biggest football game of your life off of drinking, and then starting on Monday night after your game, Go crazy. Then you've got another week until the national championship game if you even win. But how about this? I know this is hard. How about the next 2 weeks you go dry? Let's just try to get through the next 2 weeks of football because you might win a national championship and put yourself in the pantheon of greatest college football players ever. If you can take these 2 weeks off, that'd be great. And then, man, the day the national championship is over, you can get drunk for the next 2 weeks after that, every single day up until your pro day or the combine or whatever it is that you're going to do. I hope he was sick yesterday. I really do. I hope he was under the weather and had the flu. But I got a hard time believing if he was just simply under the weather with the flu and good enough to practice, they wouldn't have wanted him at the podium talking to the media yesterday. It feels like it was not an illness. It feels like the guy was out too late the night before.